This time around, we've done things differently. This time around, we've been a little bit more deliberate than we were before. Before, we're just kind of going on instinct. Who's got a camera? Point it this way. Who's got a microphone? Press record. Do you know anyone on your phone who wants to chat? Call them. This time around, we did it a little bit more deliberately. Yeah. We had a list of guests that we planned out. But then we also had a look and feel that we wanted to capture.
Absolutely,
It started with the CI. We decided to change how the logo looks and the colors that we're associated with, you know? And I love it, man. I think it looks
I think so too. Ilse Steyn, who is now based in France, but she came up with like a whole board and document presentation with the different motivations as to which route she was suggesting we go into in terms of the key African CI. And as a team, we sat down and, you know, kind of analyzed it and zeroed in on the one with the maze, which was a favorite. Why did you like the maze one?
I like that one. Initially from the jump, it was a reflex action to like it. I had no doubts that would be it. You know? The maze part is like you're looking for something, you're hunting to get to somewhere and finding your way to the center, right?
Yes.
When you get to the center of the maze, there's a key there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's what we do. We have conversations with who we feel are some pretty powerful, iconic, good sort of conversationalists who can unlock certain things about society and what they think, how they feel, how they go about doing their thing. So I thought that captured what we do perfectly.
Absolutely.
And it looks like one of those, you know, hieroglyphs or those wall paintings, cave painting kind of things. So for me, that was it. As soon as I saw the maze with the key in the center, when you look at it from a distance, you don't notice there's a key in the center. Again, part of that whole search and find. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and then we also did some stuff. I mean, with this particular 5-part series, even the approach episodically was different in terms of the way it's set up, in terms of the way we're threading through narratives in between.
Right.
And that took a bit of workshopping to get to. I mean, I remember a day when we sat for hours listening to other podcasts and then just kind of thinking, but then how do we approach this based on what we do, you know?
Exactly.
And I think it came together. It's very different from the first series, but it's an audio experience, and it's something I think I'm very proud of, the way it's all come together in that respect.
Yeah, and Justin and Dora did a really great job of giving us sort of like a sonic template of what that sounded like.
Yes.
You know, the music in the background, music that is just quintessentially us. You know? The intros, the transitions, the sort of narration in between, threading the gold thread between the conversations and between the episodes as well. So Justin and Dora did really great doing that.
Absolutely. And then we also
the engineering as well on that.
Yeah. And we also kind of threw in songs from our own catalogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And double tap for you, right?
Yeah, double tap, which we used underneath, and then on your side there were like 3. You're like
warp speed,
multiple choice.
I couldn't help myself, you know. I was like, we're doing podcasts. Put my whole catalog there.
But it worked nicely. I think it's like an extension of your personality, my personality, mismatched in this.
It works beautifully.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the fact that we put them all at once. There's no schedules. There's no weekly put out. It's just all 5 of them on demand, as everywhere that they're available. As you feel like listening to them, go in and listen.
The way Netflix does it.
Exactly, right? And these are timeless, right? So whenever you hear them, whatever order you hear them, it doesn't have to be, you know, episode 1 before episode 2. You can hear the last one
in whichever sequence you want to.
And I felt like that was important because the last series of pods that we put out was having results in 2022 in an order that was super random too, right? We were getting people getting feedback on episode 6 and how that being listened to in the US in 2020, right? It's just So for me, the whole scheduling thing is literally just it feels like, you know, another remnant of the old model of doing things. You know, where you want to create hype and you want to create a release schedule and then you want to tell people when to go listen to it and why. And it's like, listen to it when you listen. Take what you will when you take out, because that's how we created it, right?
Absolutely.
What else?
The other thing is, these were done over a period of 2 years.
Oh, has it been 2 years?
It's been 2 years, and it hit me the other day like, wow, the Kenny one.
Wow, you're right.
You know, was done early periods of lockdown, and then the one we did in the end, I think, was the Kojo one. That's episode 5. Episode. That was the last one. I think it's been a period of 2 years.
Wow.
So I mean, over the 2 years, I've been listening to them, you know, consistently. They haven't, you know, aged. We didn't put markers in there which date them to a specific time. But it's also interesting that it gives you a window as to what it felt like during this pandemic period. You know what I mean? Like, because they were being recorded in chunks. And the world, the way it's changing. The other day I went to a studio, and as soon as I finished the recording, I started looking for my mask. I'm like, oh flip, we don't need to wear masks anymore. I'm just gonna stand up and walk out of here. So anyway, it's nice that we captured you know, thoughts that were occurring during a very defined period of time.
100%.
And I think that'll be special going forward, you know, like years, you know, into the future, when you listen back and you can kind of just lock into what the mindsets and the thinking was.
That's so true,
during that period of time. Yeah.
Yeah, well said. I'd actually forgotten about that.
Yeah.
2 years worth of it.
Yeah. And then lastly, I think also just the illustrations, because we have different thumbnails, which you'll notice if you listen to the podcast on the various platforms. So those were done by an illustrator named Ellen, and she tried to capture in an animated way. It was
animated way.
Yeah, the various guests, kind of with the logo CI in there.
And she custom made those illustrations.
Yeah.
Trying to capture what she felt was the spirit of the guests, and adding a little icon to kind of sort of iconify the one thing that they do, or that we feel at least.
Yes.
That is a standout thing.
Yeah. So like with Kenny, it was the film strip, isn't it?
Yep. And then with Kojo, it was the paper from the writing.
Yes.
Yeah.
For Simon Wewalane, it was the social media icons. For Chido, it was the stethoscope threaded in there. And then for
Mr.
Armando, Mr. Cabral, it was a needle.
I didn't realize that was a needle at first.
Yeah,
I was like, is this a tapeworm or earthworm? It was a needle and thread.
It was a needle and thread.
I didn't realize.
Afterwards, I was thinking like maybe we should have put a shoelace in there, but you know, because
it looked like a shoelace.
Because he's more about like footwear.
Yes,
you know.
He's got those
but I
shoes.
suppose you still need to stitch a couple of things. So
well,
it still
old
does
school
work.
vibes. Yeah, I guess you can cobble the shoes together.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say one last thing, and I know you said last thing, but this would be the last thing.
Okay.
I think the production played a big part.
Yeah.
The writing around it,
yes.
the scripting around it. Zama did an incredible job.
She did.
I'm not just saying that because she's my wife.
No. She absolutely did. She cracked the whip. That's one. She got us to work. You know, she
did some great writing on this.
Great writing, and it's very lush. You know, like the thing is sometimes, and this is what happens when I read a script. On the fourth read, even if I'm doing voiceover, it starts landing. You start seeing the spirit of what's being said.
Exactly.
And the more I listen to the various bits of narrative that Zama was putting together, the more it just starts landing and you know, stitching everything together.
100%.
So when you listen to an episode without her copy in there, it would have been like a lesser. It would have had a lesser impact.
Totally.
You know, because it's almost like the copy is a summary, but also a thought-provoking piece of text or copy. You know, which gets you to think. You know,
it does. It unlocks certain things that in conversation they don't quite come out.
Yes.
But once they've been scripted out, they come out better.
Yeah.
And then finally on production, we really had some great people work on it.
Yeah. I think it's awesome to have guys who think in the creative space, but are also thinkers, you know.
Right.
Guys who probably don't get enough sleep at night because they're being kept up by their thoughts.
Just when they're trying to go into deep REM sleep, they're I know how to make Chilu's light look good. And then they're up at 3 a.m. thinking of Chilu's lights looking good. And they can't get back to sleep until 8 a.m. But yeah, it was a great team. And I think the product speaks for itself.
Absolutely.